Matter of fact, that I'm gonna address tonight. You know, I'm gonna go live on YouTube. I mean Instagram as well. But yeah, yeah. Oh boy, oh boy. So yeah, little did we know that the whole thing was captured on video. And if you got a third eye, we kind of know why. Uh, there hasn't been any arrest. We know why. If you got a third eye, even though they try to put it on Orlando Anderson, why he didn't get arrested if he did it. Because if this was just some street nigga ish, somebody would have been arrested a long time ago. Instagram, I'm live on YouTube. Y'all could go on my story and come on to the show if you would like to. Once again, Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year to my girl Ramona, always supporting my man Paul. My man Verse, shout out to him. You know, the people that still support, I appreciate y'all. You know what I mean? Choke no joke, we in the building. So it's been a lot of lies told in this Tupac case, right? Shout out CC Crippen for Team of B. I see y'all. All right, the Observer Thoughts in the building. What up? My fellow Americans, first in the building. All right. It's that Terror Red Man. Second in the building. What up to you? Divine in the building. What up to you? Michelle Frizzy, I see you. You know, I ain't gonna get into a bunch of shout outs. I'm gonna jump right into this. Right. So there's a lot that I want to cover tonight, right? But since, the boy 50 Cent, he out here scared to death of Fab. 50 shook, scared to death, scared to look, to get in that booth. I think he probably sitting down with Eminem right now trying to get some bars. Everybody, and then you got all these suckers out here. 50 too big to be rapping and going into battle with them. Shut up. You sound like a clown. That's what he do. That is the nigga that went when he was hot and would destroy New York, going at everybody from New York. You don't remember Fat Joe and them on clickety clank, clickety clank. Niggas can't stop my piggy bank. You don't remember all those diss records? Going at Jada and everybody. Now, for some reason, he too big. Y'all sound like planners eaters. Y'all just over here cracking nuts. That boy's scared because he ain't in his bag no more. He done got too far from the streets and don't know what to do. You know what I mean? But that's a whole other story, right? So 50 go out here and he put out this documentary with Netflix, you know, and the first episode, he's sitting there talking about how, you know, Diddy paid Keefe D and paid the Crips to he put a hit out on Suge and Tupac. And we all, a lot of us believe that narrative back until we realized how much of a liar Gray Caden was, right? I even believed it at one point. But as time goes on, the more research you do, the more information you find out, and then your theory changes. You know what I'm saying? If you a smart investigator, uh you don't what's the word I'm looking for? You don't stick to one theory because you don't want to change what you said. You know what I'm saying? If you come into some new information and your thoughts change, then you say it. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully the people bear with you and they understand why your points and view changes, right? But before I get into all the everything I'm gonna get into, if you seen at the start of the show, you know, allegedly, I'm gonna say, them boys, the alphabet boys, caught the shooting on camera. I played a little clip at the beginning. Allegedly, that's the boys catching it on camera, right? Um, but getting back to 50 and him doing this documentary saying that Diddy hired Keefe D to put a hit out on Tupac. I just want 50 Cent to see something here. Instagram, I'm live on YouTube. If you want to see what's on the screen, go on my stories, hit that link to say I'm live. It'll bring you right to the show. All right. And if you just know my YouTube channel, Choke No Joke, off the D Austin the third, just come to the channel if you subscribe. Because I'm live right now. Right? So, 50. By now, somebody has sent you this link. You know what I mean? Stunner Vision, what up? Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate you. Love the support. Thank you. All right. So, 50, if you watch it, what you should be now, because I know by now somebody done sent this to you. You know, you need people like me in your corner to do some research for you and help you out with this if you're going to be trying to tell the story that you just jumped in and don't really know all the details too, right? So for all y'all out there that was running with the narrative, listening to 50 or the documentary, no, Keefe D said that Diddy hired them to put a hit out. Diddy hired them to do this hit on Tupac and Suge. I keep telling y'all, if you watch Keefe D's interviews, the boy be lying, right? And the reason he been lying is because allegedly they caught him with some drugs and they was offering him 20 years. So he said whatever Gray Caden in them allegedly, right? Serenade, good looking. All right. Appreciate it. Um, he said what he had to say, so he didn't get them 20 years. And we all know, well, I ain't gonna say we all know, us intelligent ones that's been following the story long enough know that They did whatever they had to do to cover up the alleged police involvement in these cases, the Biggie and the Tupac, right? Now, Pork Butt more recently came out of the from under a rock, sounding like he hooked up to a breathing machine. I don't know what's going on with that dude, right? He might have the flu, I don't know. But he came out recently and told me, oh man, niggas talking about uh Rafael Perez and David McInerney was in the office, man. That nigga Joe Cool, he just saying that nigga was he was on drugs, right? He was he tried to put Joe Cool off as some type of junkie or whatever. They ain't know what he talking about. But that don't stop the fact that C Styles said it, right? That he saw Perez and Mac up there, right? That don't stop the fact that Trey D from the East Siders said that he saw Perez and Mac up in Death Row. That don't stop the fact that Layla said she seen him around Death Row, right? That don't stop the fact that Suge Knight and this nigga talking about, oh, Suge wouldn't know none of my officers by name. He might know them by face, but he might not know. Reggie, stop lying, bro. You already caught. And you just make it worse when you sit there and lie. Talking about oh, Joe Cool's not credible when you was begging him to come on bond first. Right? Now he's not credible and he was on drugs. So Trey D's on drugs, Big C Styles on drugs, Jimmy Iovine, who also said he's seen him around Death Row, is on drugs. Chief Bernard Parks, who said they worked for Death Row, is on drugs. Huh? Who else? Uh didn't Sharita say that Kevin Gaines did security for Snoop? She on drugs? So keep lying all you want. It ain't gonna save you, brother. Your lies, people are hipped on, right? And what they should be asking is how you still get a police pension when you retired from the Compton PD and then went and was selling drugs. That's what people should be asking. How does Reggie still get paid by the government when this nigga's a convicted drug dealer? And he told the Compton PD he couldn't work but turned around and was working right at Death Row doing the same goddamn thing. That's what they should be asking. How does Reggie still get money from the government when he told them he retired, he couldn't walk it because his feet was jacked up or whatever, but he was still doing security and running around with Suge Knight and them and was selling drugs. How you getting paid, Reggie? How you living right now? Off the government? Or you getting food stamps? How do you go to jail for selling drugs? You and your dad get indicted and you still get money from the government. Very interesting. Y'all niggas is connected. You are connected. But let me get to Keefe D for a second, right? So 50, you believe that Keefe D, Puff hired Keefe D to do this hit on Pac and Suge, right? You do? Well, let me play something here under fair use, courtesy of my man, the Art of Dialogue, right? Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. And I will be using this content under fair use to criticize, comment, and news reporting, as well as research in the Tupac Shakur assassination, right? So 50, you believe that Diddy hired Keefe D, right, to put out a hit on Suge and Tupac? Well, 50, I'm gonna let you hear from Keefe D himself. Okay? You tell me what he said, 50.
Puffy, he approached you on 3 different occasions, right? About pitting the hit on Tupac and Suge?
No. He never approached me about that. That's Greg Caden. He want to make what he, just like he had me a little fat dude, sagging.
50. Did you hear that? That's Greg Caden. False narrative. Lies. So if you believed all that stuff you played in murder rap, here's the man telling you himself, 50, that was a lie. That was all made up by Greg Caden.
Suge?
No. He never approached me about that. That's Greg Caden. He want to.
I'm not mistaken, Puffy, he approached you on 3 different occasions, right? About pitting the hit on Tupac and Suge?
No. He never approached me about that. That's Greg.
On 3 different occasions, right? About pitting the hit on Tupac and Suge?
No. He never approached me about that. That's Greg Caden. He want to make what he, just like he had me a little fat dude, sagging, little gang member, you know what I'm saying? Wearing khakis and shit. They were dressed like that. You wouldn't even know we was gang members if you seen us, you know what I'm saying? He stereotyped our ass. To me, all that show was a bunch of bullshit. It's like the dog with the gun in the mouth. That was a bunch of bullshit, all that.